Hello party people, it's me JiBron here, back again with another video. If this is your first time tuning in, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and welcome back to another episode of Just JiBron. Y'all, we have a lot to discuss this week. Prayers up to the families that lost the children in the recent horrible events. David is finally arrested, praise the Lord. Did you hear about Kylie Jenner getting sued by her housekeeper? And oh my God, Janet Jackson did not go to the whole freaking Micheal premiere, all that and more. So can we talk? Y'all, the first topic I'm not going to spend too much time on because it's very sensitive to me and I want to be very compassionate when I talk about this because it's very serious. It's one of those things where you don't expect something like this to happen and it shouldn't happen, and it's sad that it did happen, but I hope that it brings awareness and it helps people get the help that they need. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there was a recent mass, I can't say what it was, in my city. Children aging from the range of 3 to 11 passed away. The father was, he passed away as well. Well, the police got him. He didn't do that to himself. It was one of the most appalling things I think I've witnessed in recent history, especially since it was so local and it was literally around. Now, I don't go in the neighborhood because Queensboro, if you're from around here, it's like inner city. But you could tell that mother loved her children, and you could tell that she really cared about her babies. And the fact that she lost her babies to someone that she apparently loved, it's just so sad, and nobody should ever have to go through it. So let's give praise up to them and the families, and let's just have a moment of silence a little bit for those people who got lost. Anyway, in other news, did y'all hear about David? Oh my God. Here we go with this, Husty. I am so glad that they finally arrested your short leprechaun behind, because let me tell you something about you, Sister David. You, out of all people, really should have been arrested a long time ago. But I get that, when you have different things, especially of something of this magnitude, you have to make sure you have all your ducks in a row when it comes to arresting someone of such heinous and serious crimes. Because get this, y'all, David was charged with SA of someone under the age of 14, human mutilation of a body, and then on top of that, obviously the capital, So David was recently arrested, and he's been taken to jail. He's in the same jail that the Menendez brothers were in, which is weird. So I guess this is a, jail for all the hot shots who think they're all that in the bag of chips and they think they're above the law. The reason why they think that prosecution thinks that she was ultimately, taken away from the earth was due to the fact he was scared that it was going to affect his music career because she was planning to come out and pretty much spill the beans about their relationship. So she was lured to the house on April the 23rd of 2015. She was never seen again afterwards. Her body was later found September the 8th. And prosecution is pretty much alleging that she was some kind of way dismembered and taken away from the earth during the time because she was never seen or heard from again. And then, they ultimately found her body in the Tesla. They saw that she had multiple penetrating injuries. She was missing, I think, fingertips, among other things. David was pretty much scared that she was going to come out and speak her truth about the relationship that they had, which I feel like she absolutely should have. His defense said that he didn't do it. Yeah, I don't think that he did it. I think that he had somebody else do it, because I don't think that this short little leprechaun could have done that much magnitude to her. You probably had one of your goons do it, and the problem is the goons are probably long gone. They probably got their Louis bags in exchange for body bags. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, Drake moment. Y'all know that song? Anyway. They probably got their Gucci bags and their Louis bags, and they probably sitting around keeping it on the hush while you out here looking stupid. You look like a chameleon in your mugshot picture, because I saw you. You look disheveled. You look scary. You look like you're not there. Like, you just look glazed over. David, I don't know what she saw in you. Granted, y'all look like y'all were about the same height, because if you wear those shorts and they literally come all the way down here, short people matter. Short lives matter. So I'm not going to attack the short people. But for someone who's supposedly so got it like that, why are you messing around with a 14-year-old little girl? Okay. David also does not have television access and cannot have visitors. I said that to y'all earlier. And he also doesn't have any money on his books. And get this, they said that the jail smells. So on top of you stinking, the jail stinks. You can't have any visitors. Nobody's coming to see you. You can only make calls the days that you go shower. You only get to go outside for fresh air for 3 hours per week. And you don't even get to talk to any other inmates. Because let me tell you something, if you have contact with any of them other inmates, they probably would have their way with you. And you know what I mean when I say they'll have their way with you. You will probably become someone's girlfriend in the jail. Because at the end of the day, David, I think that you are in a rude awakening. Because one thing that we don't like in this country is people who mess with children. And you offed her. So that makes you a double person. You are beyond disgusting, and something is clearly wrong with you, and you need to go get mental help. And the fact that you were promoting your album that really nobody cared about, well, I guess you do have a fan base. You know, you have a bigger fan base than I do, so I can't really judge you there. Your album did chart on Billboard, and you were promoting the album, and you had all the blood and all the caskets and all the things, so you were pretty much telling on yourself. Like, do you not realize that your defense attorney is going to have a hard time explaining, because you all know that life imitates art, so you're going to have a hard time explaining after you were promoting the album, after she ultimately passed away. Then you had a casket and everything else, and I think that the thing was called romantic, you know what, side. And so there's a lot of stuff that is just linking back to poor little Celeste. And I even saw a video where you saw a girl that looked like Celeste and you got spooked out, which absolutely should. I hope every time you close your eyes, you see that baby. And I hope that you see her in her last moments. Because at the end of the day, that child did not deserve to lose her life like that. You took advantage of someone who was ultimately vulnerable and was weak and could not defend themselves. In the moment that you thought that she had the upper hand, you did what all cowards do, and you wanted to get the easy way out. But the problem is you can run, but you can't hide. So praise up to the family. I feel bad for all her friends. I feel bad for all the parties involved. I just pray for everyone. I hope that people get peace, because this is ultimately one of the saddest stories that I've had to cover, along with the thing that I previously covered. In other news that's going on in California, did y'all hear that Kylie Jenner's getting sued? Child. So apparently, Angelique Vasquez filed a lawsuit against her and two other companies, TriStar Services and Mason Family Services, on April 17th. She claimed that she was pretty much treated hostile, and she was excluded from a lot of places. She alleged that someone threw hangers at her. She got all the menial tasks. She never said Kylie did anything directly, but she pretty much alluded to the fact that the staff was less than nice to her. Like, reading her complaint, I didn't see anything where she said, Kylie treated me like this, Kylie did me like that, Kylie did me like this. She also was humiliated in front of her co-workers due to her race, national origin, and religion, and she was intimidated and was under demanding treatment. Keep in mind, she's Salvadorian, and she's practiced Catholicism. She also said that derogatory comments were made about her. She said that it was a toxic work and abusive requirement. She said no corrective actions had been made towards her, so she pretty much felt vulnerable, and she felt like nobody pretty much came to her aid. Here's my thing about this situation. I do not believe that Kylie Jenner herself is racist. I feel like the people that she works for, keep in mind, Kylie Jenner is a billionaire, and she runs that billion-dollar company, Kylie Cosmetics. So Kylie obviously cannot be in her house on a day-to-day, so she doesn't know exactly what's going on because she's too busy running and I'm pretty sure the girl has a lot on her plate. She films the Kardashians. She's a mother. So there's a lot that she has to do. So I can only imagine what she is probably thinking, which is probably why this woman in her complaint never directly listed Kylie as an issue and didn't directly sue her. But I get how she's guilty by association, because this did happen in her home, under her watch, under her direction. Granted, I don't think she really knows everything that goes on in her house, because think about it, when you're jet setting, traveling all around the world, and you're in this business, I mean, it's no offense, you want your clothes folded, you want your food cooked, and you want to make sure your daughter's well taken care of, fed, and bathed, and not to mention she has a personal life too as well. So I mean, I'm pretty sure she's not at home around the clock saying, are you treating her like this? Are you treating her like that? And you are one of many staff members, and I'm pretty sure she has a multitude of minions and servants all around that house, because from what I know, Kylie lives in like these big old houses. Granted, it's only you and Stormy, but then again, when you have money, you probably have friends and your staff and all the other people living with you. She also said she developed anxiety, severe stress, and symptoms with PTSD. She took a medical leave in 2025, and she had no choice but to resign, and she's suing for compensation from unpaid wages, damages and restitution, and she wants a meal and rest premium pay and unreimbursed business expenses, unpaid sick leave, and some other stuff. This is just one of those tricky subjects because it's like, where do you draw the line of, yeah, this is my staff, but I didn't do these things, and yeah, this is my staff, but I'm not responsible for how they treat you. Granted, if I was her, I would completely fire everyone who was involved. I would get a whole new staff. I would pay this girl to pretty much make her go away. If I was Kylie, I would pay my portion just to shut her up because I don't know how much she's suing you for, but girl, you're a billionaire, so I'm pretty much you have the liquid. I don't know how much you have tied up in assets, but I'm almost sure you have a liquid. You could throw this girl like $10 million and she'll shut up and she'll go away. Because once again, she directly didn't come after you. I think she was probably hired through one of those like housekeeping services. The fact that Kylie, like, she's so rich. She has like a multitude of minions and servants to where like she can just, go down the list and she doesn't even know these people. Like she has a whole hiring company for her whole house, and it's like, that's interesting and that's kind of fun. I kind of like it. I want to sign up for that, Kylie. And I wonder how much her housekeepers get paid. That's what I'm also wondering. And like the menial task, they did suck, but it's sad, but I hope the lady gets her help that she needs because PTSD and anxiety is nothing to play with. And I can only imagine what it's like to constantly go to work and you be under that amount of immense stress. In other news, did y'all hear about the Michael Jackson movie premiere? So, Michael Jackson movie comes out tomorrow. Today is April the 23rd. So by the time you see this, Michael had already came out. It came out April the 24th. And of course, it was a red carpet event. Notably, who was missed was Janet and Paris. Now, LaToya, we all know who talks at the opening of an envelope. We love LaToya. Granted, LaToya kind of looks scary, but you've always had this sweet aura about you. Granted, I think you just lost weight. Granted, you look fine, thicker. You look like your mother, even though, you clearly have had work done. But you look like your mother underneath all of that. You're a very beautiful woman, and I will say her hair has been the same for like the last 20 years, but it looks good. LaToya's spirit is very childlike and innocent, and I don't know what it is about LaToya's energy that I just absolutely love. But she talked to the press and she said, yeah, Janet actually politely declined. She was like, the rumors that they heard about her and Jermaine getting into it are false, which I don't think is true. And the main reason why I think that Janet even declined this movie appearance is because Janet in her own right is her own success story. You have to think about it. Janet Jackson is one of the most successful one of the most successful pop artists of all time. Janet Jackson has a cult following and she has a bunch of classics. She, by far, set the standard for a lot of girls what it means to sing and dance. She's one of Tina Turner was the first to do it, but she's in her own lane. She's a writer. She is very talented in her own right. She is one of the instances, like we talked about earlier, being the younger sibling. And how does that affect your birth order? She ultimately made her own way and made her own path when it came to this thing called music industry. And I'm ultimately proud of someone like her. Do I think that her and Jermaine got into it? Yes, because Jermaine was supposed to be Michael from what I was understood and what I was told. Even though Michael was the front man, it was always him and Jermaine, him and Jermaine, him and Jermaine. Jermaine hairline looked like the Lincoln Tunnel. I need him to get a better lace front or something and all the work you've had done. And I see that you be proud on all the makeup and stuff. His other children attended, but Paris is gone. But I don't think Paris just wants to be involved in the whole fame of it all. I think Paris just enjoys living a low-key life. I don't think that Paris is the attention seeker like that. Paris, to me, just gives off, I had a rich father. I miss my dad. He passed away when I was young, and it is what it is. I'm excited to see Michael. There is going to be a part 2. It's confirmed in the first half of the movie from what I heard. I'm ready to see it. It's going to be an event of all events. Granted, I heard that it only got like a 23 for the Rotten Tomatoes, which, whatever. Jafar Jackson is playing him, his nephew, which keep it in the family, which is a good thing. I'm just so excited to see Michael, y'all. I don't know what to tell you. Dad, I'm ready to go see The Devil Wears Prada. Oh my God, I'm ready to go see The Devil Wears Prada. Like, y'all, I'm really about to be in the movies the next 2 weeks, and plus school's about to end, so thank you, Lord, I can actually have time to go enjoy myself. But in other news, did y'all hear about the good news about Eric Murphy and Jasmine Lawrence? They are welcoming a baby, so the comedy legacy continues. So as we, Eddie Murphy's son and Martin Lawrence's daughter, they recently got married, I think like a year or two ago, and they're welcoming a baby. I wonder, is he gonna be a comedian like his godfathers, his grandparents? That is interesting to have like that kind of pedigree and have two of the funniest people be your granddads. I already know the jokes are gonna be corny as ever, and it's just gonna be a good time. But y'all, that's enough, but can we talk? Y'all, we have a whole nother segment. I have Jasmine and I have Tim here in the studio, and we're gonna go ahead and talk about how does birth order affect with my final thoughts. So y'all stay tuned. All right, y'all. So welcome to Final Thoughts with me, JB. And unlike most weeks where I sit in my tight ensembles and I cross my legs and I sip my water and I elaborate on a particular story, because we all know I like to stick to my particular motif when it comes to my outfits, I decided that I was going to have some guests this week to discuss something that I, felt was interesting to talk about. So, on my here, because I don't even know what side this is, because y'all, it's been 2.5 hours. We have Miss Jasmine.
Hello.
That's my girl. She just recently helped me with my poster that I have for the show that's coming out, because we're doing a whole bunch of promo stuff, because y'all, when you have a talk show, the work never stops. And then over here we have Tim. Tim is an amazing videographer. Make sure when his documentary comes out, you watch it, you support it. I'll post it everywhere. Y'all, we got to keep uplifting everybody who's around you, because guess what? If there's room enough for everyone to make it in this life. So, y'all, earlier in the show, we were talking about Kylie Jenner, how she's pretty much getting sued by her housekeeper. Mm-hmm. Granted, that has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about. Yeah. But her birth order, she's a billionaire. Mm-hmm. Do you guys feel like sometimes that your birth order kind of affects how you turn out in life?
I think so. I would say so. As the oldest sibling, I would think that the way that I maneuver through life is definitely different than my younger siblings.
You think so, Tim?
I'm an only child.
Okay, well, see, here's the thing. I'm kind of both, so I get what you're saying. Do you think, like, your childhood maybe affected you, though, in some kind of way?
Of course.
Like, how do you think that, like, your childhood affected you in your adulthood now, like, with the way you operate with people and things?
I'm not a sharer. I'm a grown adult. I'm 38 years old. And you can ask my girlfriend. I'm not a sharer.
See, and this is where the discourse becomes a whole thing between being an only child versus having siblings, because I am a sharer.
Yeah.
I share everything, pretty much. Like, you have no choice but to do that when you have siblings. So you're used to sharing attention, you're used to sharing your parents, you're used to sharing clothes. I mean, to this day, my sister will still, we live in 2 separate households. She will still come to my house and steal some of my stuff.
I'm with Tim on this one, though, because I had, like, the best of both worlds. A lot of y'all know I have 4 other siblings, but I don't think people realize, like, I had the life with them, but then I had the life in the suburbs locked up in the house behind the gate. So, like, I could just, like, when I'm used to being alone, like, no offense, I'm pretty sure sometimes she wants to tell you every single detail about her day, and sometimes you just want to come home and you don't feel like talking, right?
Well, we don't get to live together. We don't get to see each other too much. When we do communicate, yes, I love hearing her stories. Now, when we finally decide to live together, I'm pretty sure there's going to be like I just want to be left alone for a few minutes.
I'm going to tell you something from personal experience. I get irritated when people are, like, talking to me when I freshly get out of the car when I come home.
I get that.
Because y'all don't understand. I was like a latchkey kid, like, the last couple of years. So I'm used to coming home, unlocking the door, and it's pitch silent and everything's how I left it.
Right.
It's been an adjustment for me living with my grandfather, because he wants to talk as soon as I walk through the door, and I'm like, please don't talk to me. And it's not like I'm even being like a butthole.
You just need that moment to decompress.
And
I get it.
It's like, no offense, like I have a 30-minute commute from here and back every single day, and these people on the interstate cannot drive worth a damn, and it irritates my spirit, because I just don't understand how you idiots literally want to cut in front of me without signal lights. You don't want to change lanes. You want to drive like a grandma, and it's like 70 miles per hour. Like, speed up. Like, you people do not realize, and then some of y'all want to drive like NASCAR drivers, like gas isn't higher than wood. Like, I don't understand why on earth we need to drive like complete and total maniacs, but that's a whole other topic for a whole different day.
Right. 100%.
But with you, like, being the oldest child, do you feel like your experience with your parents was different than your younger siblings?
100%. So I have an older half sister, but for research purposes, I do not. We'll say that. So I definitely felt like the expectations for me were higher because of how things turned out with her. So I do definitely feel, even now at 27, I still feel that pressure of like wanting to make my parents proud. And I mean, every kid wants to make their parents proud, you know, but I want to have and be a good example for my younger siblings too. So like that doesn't go away, even though we're all out of the house and we're not young as we used to be. So I definitely think so.
Do you feel like you're more free-spirited because you didn't have like another person that who looked up to you, or like someone who you looked up to, like you feel like you could just navigate life in your own way?
I did navigate life in my own way, and it was kind of so weird story, but it'll go to the conversation. So like when first time I was in college, I moved into a house with a bunch of dudes, and it was kind of funny because like, you know, everybody kind of formed, you know, we're all friends, but we all kind of formed a bond with like one other person in the house. And the two roommates I had that grew up in big families, you know, they formed a bond. And then me and the guy, he was an only child too. Like we kind of formed like a brotherly bond. And so it was like, especially with him being older than me, every time I had something, I'd go to him and he'd be like, nah, man, you know, his life experiences. But like, you know, when I was before that, I was kind of like, well, I'll figure this out. You know, there is a lot of navigating it on your own and hoping you guess right. Because I mean, that's pretty much what you're doing. You're guessing. I'm like, yeah, sure, this would be a good idea. Most times it's never not. But, you know, so that's really, I mean, I don't know if free-spirited would be you know, you kind of just had to navigate it and hope you guessed right.
Do you feel like sometimes you were a bit lonelier because you didn't have like another person you could like confide in?
No. But that's just my personality. Like I am... sometimes with her, it's like I'll just sit there in silence, you know. When, you know, like I'll like text her, just like, oh, I need to talk to her because we haven't talked in like 4 or 5 hours. I'm like,
by the way, they're dating. If you can't tell, by the way.
So it's like I can sit there and not talk to anybody all day and be perfectly fine. But it's like, you know, especially now that me and her are together, I'm like, okay, I have to talk to her, not in like a bad way, but it's like, you know, I don't want us to not talk, and so. It's more just navigating the right and wrong way to do things.
Yeah. For me, I will say, since I had both, it was kind of like a lonely thing when I would like, for me, like they would come over on the weekend, so they would be with me from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I would feel the void when they left.
Yeah.
And then when they would come back, I would be so happy, but it was also a double-edged sword because I was used to always doing things for myself. And like if I wanted something, I knew I could go get it. And they'll be like, they call me DJ. I hate that name now, but that's what they call me.
Right.
They'll be like, DJ, why didn't you ask us to do it? I'm like I used to do, okay, this is going to be crazy. So in our old apartment, when my parents were married, because everybody in my family divorced, like it's no secret. But like in our old apartment, like my dad would have his tackle boxes like stacked up in the laundry room, and then we'd put the chips up high so I couldn't reach it.
Right.
I would climb on the tackle boxes to get on top to reach the chips. And one time I like fell, and they were like, "Why didn't you just come and get us?" And I was like, "Because I'm just used to doing it alone." Or like I would get myself in situations, and they would literally be like, "Well, why didn't you call us?" And I'm like, "Well." Because I will say, for me, it would have been different if we all grew up separately. But it was like 3 of them in the house, and then it's me, and then my other sister Ashley. She has siblings too. Like I'm the only other person who does not have anybody at home. Like the next person in line was my uncle, and my uncle's 14 years older than me.
Yeah.
So it's like if I'm 4, you're 18.
Yeah.
I'm watching SpongeBob. You worried about like college tuition. I don't even understand what college is at this point. I'm just like I'm existing. I'm eating goldfish. You eating like what did Lo2 eat? Lo2 used to eat like grown people food. Like I used to think mozzarella sticks were so disgusting. I used to eat steak and all this other stuff. And I want chicken strips and Pop-Tarts. Like I did not like I will say it was a learning curve for me. Because and then my cousins would come over a lot. Did you ever feel like the thing, like when you had other kids play with you when you were younger, did you know how to share properly or no?
No.
I didn't either. Everything was always my.
So I actually have a half brother, but there's such an age difference between us that like I might as well have been an only child.
Yeah.
And he was with my dad and my stepmom, and I lived with my mom. But my stepmom, I had 2 older stepbrothers, one younger stepbrother, a younger stepsister, and a half brother. So, and my parents for a little while had split custody. So I'd have to go, and a little bit of a personal story. My dad and my stepmom never had a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then they had to split what money they do have between 6 kids.
Yeah.
So I remember I'd have to go a week over to my dad's, and then I'd be a week at my mom's. And so I'm going from, and my mom did make a lot of money. And so I'm an only child from a single mom who makes a lot of money. I'm spoiled. I got everything my way. Then I got to go over to my dad's house, where none of that is the same. And I just remember one time I finally had enough. I was like, Dad, I'm not coming over anymore.
Yeah.
And, it's just, I'm not a share. I'm not hey, these people are in my personal space. Not like, why are you here? Go away.
Yeah.
I mean, it's their house too. So it's like, I can't say that, but it's
Yeah.
just, when you're used to having your, especially as an only child, your personality is almost defined by being an only child. And,
Yes.
And when that is like, when there's
Challenge.
Yeah, when that is challenged, and you're like, I mean, you can either you adjust or you leave, and I just chose to leave.
Yes. Do you ever feel like wish that you could have been a bit more selfish, like as a child, since you had to like share and kind of like be an example to your younger siblings?
No. And I say that only because I think I just have such a big heart anyways, that I think even if I was to be a bit more selfish when I was younger, I still don't think I could have.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I have it in me to be selfish like that. And I have a hard time trying to be selfish for myself even now. I'm still like I want to move. And I'm like, I don't want to leave my family though, because what if they need me?
Yeah.
I don't want to leave my niece. Like, I don't want to leave my grandma. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, well, I have to like do something for myself at one point. So it's, and that I think that just comes with being an older sibling too, though. Like, you don't get to do that often. And so when you do, you feel guilty. And then, you're just like, oh, well, now I just feel like the worst person ever for doing something for myself for once, because you're so worried about other people and like giving yourself to others that when you try to do something for yourself, you just have nothing but that intense like guilt and overthinking in your brain.
So do you get mad whenever like you keep getting asked the same question every day? Okay. Like my mom's still like, what time are you leaving? What time are you coming home? Every day. And knowing full well it's like it changes every day too. And it's like, one, I'm a grown adult. Why do you care what time I'm coming home? Like, and then you also know I don't know the answer. So it's like,
No, my mom literally asks me my schedules every week, and my schedule has literally been the same since
Yeah.
January. And I'm like, please don't ask me 15,000 questions. Or if I'm leaving the house, somebody's like, where you going? What time are you? And I'm like, y'all have my location.
I don't even
Look
think
at
that
it.
that's like an only child thing though either. I literally live next door to my parents. They have access to my Ring camera. They have my location. And they're like, where are you going? To work? To school? Like wherever? Like, I think it just comes with like parents being parents, to be so real with you.
Back to what you said, not to
No,
cut you
good,
off.
you're
Back
good.
to what you said, Tim, with the whole like sharing with your siblings thing. That was, I never had that issue because all of them were like 10 and 9 years older than me. They weren't into playing with Barney and my Tickle Me Elmo and my
Right.
Hummer. They were more so like, they were like, if I asked them to like come do stuff with me, yeah, they'll be like, okay, we'll tolerate DJ for 3 minutes. And
Yeah.
then like the play, I was more trying to get in the stuff that they were into.
Right.
Like, it's like my brothers were watching MTV Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
And they were playing GTA. And I was
Yeah.
like, what's that? But when my cousins around my age would come over, that's when the disconnect would come.
Really?
Because, like Tim said, my parents weren't well off, but my grandparents were already established in their life. And I was spent 50-50 between my parents and then my grandparents.
Yeah.
Particularly my grandmother, Beverly. Granny always made sure I was straight. Meaning, like, my granny would literally give me my stuff that she wanted me to have from Dillard's. Like, my baby clothes, 90% of them came from Dillard's.
Oh.
And she would keep the stuff that she wanted at her house. Like, I had a closet. Like,
Never.
like stuff like that. And then whenever I wanted something, my mom would make sure I had it. And so my cousins were always like, I got an iPhone when I was like 7. Dumbest thing ever. I had an iPhone 4. It was 2012. I was in first grade going into second grade. And I'll never forget my cousins. And my cousins were like, you worship your cell phone, you don't share. And I had like a Wii, and I left it at my grandma's house, and they took advantage of it. So like, I will say, when it came for me to have my stuff, and I want to share with you,
Right.
yeah, but it's mine, and don't get it twisted.
Must be nice.
This is mine.
Must be so nice.
It's mine.
It's my, like, and no, literally, my brothers, them, they would, because they were so much older, they weren't like, ooh, we're gonna go in DJ's room and mess with his stuff, and we're gonna da-da-da. It was more so, even when it came down to our PlayStation, it was like, let him have his moment, because he just wants to watch us.
Yeah.
They didn't care.
That's so nice.
Because they were
That's
like,
so
but
nice.
no, what does a 14-year-old look like arguing with a 4-year-old?
Right.
Like, that looks absolutely
It's funny.
stupid. Like, no, now, did we get into fights? Yes. Darius has
naturally.
the face, remember? Darius,
Naturally.
we were watching that 70 show. This is a random story. We were watching that 70 show because we lived in a 2-bedroom apartment with my parents. And I had, like, my bedroom with, like, my bed and stuff. And my mom hooked me up. I had a queen bed.
Oh.
And, you know, like, as a toddler, that's like a California king
Yeah.
because you're so little.
Yeah.
But obviously, all 4 of us can't sleep in that bed.
No.
So I would, like, go sleep on the floor with them. And like Darius was watching TV, and then they used to do something weird. They would cut off the cable. Remember cable boxes? He would cut off the cable box instead of cut off the television. And I think he went up. And we were watching ATL.
Oh.
And he
Lord.
went up to cut it off, and I think he got too close to my feet, and he had like a gash in his face for like.
Ooh. Dang. Your toenail cut him?
And the next day he woke up, but
Toenails.
they didn't cut them. I was always in sneakers.
God
I was always,
bless you.
And I used to walk around barefoot and stuff, so they probably are hard,
Yeah.
ragged, and jagged.
God, no, but
Anyway, thank you all for joining me this
Of
week.
course.
That's all the time that I have for you all. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you all next week. Bye.
bye.
Now I gotta go do this up. Okay, live people, we finna go.